is time for our next batch of must-get items. Now, for those of you who have been around this series a while, you'll know we're going through literally every single map, and I must say, this particular set of drops is a lot more house-focused. I think there's a lot more house drops than other types. It's probably not quite as exciting, which is not the sort of thing you should say at the start of a video. Anyway, we're over at Tower of Doom, looking specifically at Tower of Doom 7, 8, 9, and 10. 7, 8, and 9, you can go along, defeat the boss. There's like this unique item that you're able to get. If you do get that, and then go fight the boss in Tower of Doom 10, you're going to be able to build yourself an armor set, essentially. I think that's the only way of obtaining this. That's why I said it's unique. But there you go, there's the armor, and I think all the bits previous probably go quite well with it. Slugbutter in Tower of Doom 10 will be slightly more of a challenge than other bosses in game. However, as you can see, there are some different drops that he does have for you, including some quite cool wings. So if you are a fan of particular types of wings, there are a few different ones that you can get from him, and maybe you'd fancy picking them up. Anyway, that's about all really for the Tower of Doom series for now, so let us move on to our next map. This one is not a boss drop, but just a reminder, there is the Vault map. If you've never been along here, it was part of the transdimensional head casing. Head into this room, as long as you don't have another one in your inventory, and you can pick yourself up the week 26 helm. Sadly, J6 hasn't done one of those for a while, but here we are, fingers crossed for the future. Maybe we'll get another one day. The Venom Vault is our next map. You have got the standard Manticore boss right here. If you do defeat him, you can get yourself a whip and also this tamer weapon. However, if you go along to the Ultra version, it's pretty much all the same drops as you saw a minute ago, except you don't have the whip and the tamer blade. So I guess you wouldn't actually be defeating the Ultra one. I don't really know why I'm showing you this. It's just so you can see the difference between them both. Next up is Join the World. Once you're here, you'll be able to progress through the map past various different monsters, and each of these will give you various house items. Our first person will come across is Ray, and once you do, you'll see you can get yourself a lovely house guard and also a second house guard. There will be a bit of a theme from the drops of the monsters in the world, and I'm sure you'll pick up on that very quickly. I know these are meant to be like musical names, but I'm not going to go through saying them all because I say them wrong every time. It's not really something I can remember going back that far nowadays to school, but there you go. There's a couple more rooms of these types of drops. You will come across a standard Darkon monster. There's nothing to really note particularly there that the Encore version hasn't got. The extra items that were there have gone rare. Encore Darkon will be the boss for this particular map, and once you get to him, as you'll see, there's another load of house guests for us. But there are also some other house items as well, including the Ring of Creation. Everything there is AC tagged, and I'm sure if you've gone along farming these bosses before, then you may well already have them lurking in your bank. Next up is join Thirdspell. Once we're over here at Thirdspell, there is first of all a merge shop. I do quite like the solar gear in this merge. It's got some nice little animations with it. Seems fairly easy to grab, so that may be something to think about. There is the Great Solar Elemental. He's a bit of an interesting one. You can get the Black Star Blade, which is the same from the boss at this map as well. There is also a battle pet version of him and just a normal legend only pet as well. I said there was another boss. If you do make your way all the way down here, the only thing really that's worth mentioning is going to be the addition of the Solar Helm. However, weirdly, it's not AC tagged or anything, so that really is down to whether you like it or not. Next up is join Thunderfang. Once you get here, you'll find yourself a dragon, and would you believe it, the dragon inside of the cave is going to have more house guard items for you. There's also a lightning dragon pet if you would like it, as well as the Shroud of Storms. I'm assuming that is a cape. If not, that is an incredibly cool armor, but surely that is going to be a cape. Our next map is join Timekeep. Once you're here, you're probably thinking, I remember this map. We've grinded here before. Yes, you would have done some grinding over at this map. I think it's probably for Argo, but I really can't quite remember. Anyway, the boss at this map does have the Mystical Acolyte set. This is fully AC tagged, free player. If you like any of the stuff from this set, it will be well worth your while going along and grabbing it. I think our next map is going to be taking us a little bit further into the past. At least it makes me feel like that when I see the menu buttons. We are over at Join Timeportal. Once you get to Timeportal, you'll find yourself the Alina's Wedding Shop. Make sure you have a little look through here just in case there is anything that you particularly fancy grabbing from that shop. If we head through to the next room, you are going to find yourself an hourglass. If you defeat the hourglass, this is the drop table that you could be getting yourself. Yes, it does include Alina's enchanted hourglass, but there's some quite cool house items. I do like some of these. If you're just after decorative pieces, then there's definitely some bits in here maybe you consider getting. Again, AC tag on those items, which is always a bonus. Our next map is heading us over to have a look at our next Chaos Lord. This is going to be Timespace, where you can find yourself Chaos Lord Iadoa. When you do defeat Iadoa, there are a couple different armors that you can get. You may not have realised you can grab yourself the Chrono Assassin set. That sadly has got a legend tag on the armour, and that'll be the same for the Chaos Lord armour as it is with pretty much every single one in that saga. There's some different helms you could grab as well if you particularly fancied looking like the Chaos Lord. Next up is Timevoid. If you head inside of the giant snakehead, you'll find yourself the unending avatar. You can grab yourself an ancient frying pan. Not sure if you particularly fancy that, but there is also this Kindred's Valiant set. Members only, but it is a map that exists. That means we need to mention it in this series. Join Time Stream is our next map. If you speak to the NPC here, you can quick teleport to the boss, and this is what you could be getting. You have got the Shadowed War Mage set. It is AC tagged and very much worth it if you do like your trimmed items. Once we've gone through this full list, we're moving on to a map I'm sure many of us are probably fed up of seeing through the amount of time we have spent grinding there. But here you go, Stream War. If you head over to Stream War, first of all, there is this war chest with a load of gear that you can just outright buy. Really like the effects on those, so well worth having a look in that particular shop. Again, if you head all the way through the map, you'll find yourself the second speaker. This is the drop list for the second speaker. You may already have many of these items depending on how you have farmed this map previously, or if you've never been here before, then well, you won't yet. But this is what you could be getting yourself. There is the Avatar's Flame set, as well as the Eternal Manifestation set to go with it. You'll see that it's pretty much all for free player. There are a few legend bits that are thrown in, but there are two different armor sets, which is always nice to see from bosses. You do get a ground portal as well, so if you'd like a ground rune, then there you go. There's quite a quirky one that you can get from this second speaker boss. But that is the end of this particular monster. Let us move on to our next map, which is going to be Titan Attack. First of all, if you like big bulky sets and armors, then this is probably going to be one of the maps for you. There are 3 different Titanic monsters we'll be having a quick little look at. You have got the Titanic Vindicator. Again, there's going to be plenty of statues and house items from these bosses, but you can also get yourself the Vindicator Titan and the Titan's Axe to go with that one. Heading over to the Paladin this time round, and at the Paladin, again, plenty of different items, mostly all house items, but there is also the Titanic Paladin Blade that you can get as a drop. I'm not sure if those are necessarily used in the merge shop. They may be, that may be why they're there, but equally, if you don't do any merging, then maybe you can just grab the weapon from the boss and, well, leave it at that. Okie dokes, our next map is Join Titan Draov. When you get here, you'll find yourself Titan Draov, and this is the drop list. You are able to get yourself some pretty mean looking gauntlets, as well as the Titan Draov's blade, in addition to the Titan Draov's morph, if you're someone that likes to make yourself look like different versions of Draov. Our final map is going to be Join Lotus Tomb. Once you get here, first of all, there is a little shop you can have a look through if you'd like some chaotic and kind of angelic gear. And then the boss, and this is going to be even more house items, but you do get some really nice house items because there's some ponds. I'm not sure what it is about the appeal of ponds and lakes at my house in Adventure Quest, but I'm all for it. I love a decorative piece. And that brings us to the end of this particular video. I'm afraid there wasn't quite those big hitter items that we sometimes get and come across. However, we do have to go through each of the maps, and that, this time round, meant we had quite a focus on house items and slightly more random out there gear. As always, thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you again for another one incredibly soon.